What do you think is the final truth? One thing that I've realized about reality is that there's many layers that you need to remove to get to the final truth. And each and every layer contains some amount of truth. And it's good to remove these layers one by one because there's so much to learn. Some people think that my message is not consistent because I go through every layer in my videos. So sometimes I'll give you the final truth. Sometimes I'll give you the truth that you find on the first layer. I'll tell you about the nature of humans. I'll tell you about how the people who are in power are controlling everyone else. I'll tell you how bad this realm is. I'll tell you why maybe some ancient books ain't based on truth. I'll tell you why I don't believe in God. But what is really the final truth? If you have removed every layer, what do you find? What is the final truth? Knowledge is power. They didn't lie to us about that. Your biggest enemy now is ignorance. You deserve the truth. As a conscious being, you actually deserve the truth. Any person who makes you feel like you don't deserve the truth or makes you feel like there's something wrong with you because you want the truth, stay away from them. Don't listen to them. It doesn't make sense to think that as a conscious being, that found itself having an experience, it doesn't deserve to understand what the experience is about. It doesn't make sense to believe that that makes sense, that you don't deserve to know what your experience is about, why you're having that experience. If you don't feel like you want to have that experience anymore, what can you do? How can you change your reality? Like, these are really important questions. We mustn't think of ourselves as slaves, as beings that don't deserve to know, as beings that don't deserve to have power, as beings that should just experience reality and not even have a say. People making you feel like your perspectives are wrong, making you feel like you are blaspheming when you express yourself. No, that's beyond wrong. You must be free to express yourself. If you feel like there's something that is happening here and it's not making sense, you gotta be free to express yourself. Do not trust these people who make you feel like you shouldn't be free to express yourself. You deserve the truth. We have been lied to so much that all of us are confused. Everyone is confused by the human experience. What's really going on here? Is there really a God that's going to punish us if we don't believe in him? But obviously that's not true. That's beyond obvious. Sometimes I don't want to tell people how obvious that is. It's beyond. There isn't a God that's going to punish you for not living according to his will. Unless maybe you make a deal with these entities, right? Unless you do that. But the truth is, there isn't an entity that has enough power to punish you for eternity. There's a reason why when you are having a nightmare in your dream, you actually wake up. Consciousness doesn't want to have a negative experience for eternity. Once consciousness is certain that, okay, this experience isn't going to change, you're going to wake up. Let's just say you're having a very negative experience. I don't like how I'm looking right now. Let's see how... today it's very, very cold. I'm not sure if the camera is actually capturing me very well in this weather. But consciousness is not going to allow itself to experience something that it doesn't want to experience for eternity. You will wake up. If you are having a nightmare, of course you're going to wake up. You don't wake up only if you still have hope. You still feel like things might change, right? You still feel like things might change. And you can handle whatever is going on and you are actually able to grow in some ways. So that's kind of like giving you hope. But you mustn't look at yourself as if you're small, as if there's someone who has more power than you over your own life. You mustn't look at it that way. You mustn't feel so small. You deserve the truth. Live life as if you make the rules than to allow other people to control you. Once you make yourself feel small, you're going to feel small even when you're dreaming. You're going to feel small even when you're having a psychedelic experience. You're going to feel small even after you've passed on. Wherever you're going to find yourself, you still feel small. You still feel like there are people who are, or not even people, but beings that are more powerful than you. You shouldn't feel that way, ever. Whenever you find yourself feeling that way, you need to change how you think. What really is the final truth? If someone asked me today, and it was my last day here, they asked me, hey man, look, you've been here for 31 years. I'm turning 32 on the 31st of April. So yeah, soon I'll be 32. You've been here for 31 years and in a few months. Um, what do you really think is the truth, my G? Like, what do you really think is the truth? You can't tell me that you have not realized some things, in these 31 years. Like, come on, you must have realized something. So what do you actually think is the truth? I'll tell them that the final truth, everything that I've been telling you is the truth, but the final truth is that this world is not real. It's not. Yes, it seems very real. Let me see how it looks when I'm facing this. Yeah, it looks better when I'm facing this way. My final truth is that this world is not real. That's my final truth. But what do I even mean when I say this world is not real? What does that mean? Because we hear a lot of people saying this is not real, right? Gnostics been saying this is not real. A lot of spiritual teachers have been saying that this is not real, but what does that actually mean? What that means is that this world doesn't exist independent of your mind. Meaning that this world exists because you exist. That's what it means. And you must look at it that way. There's no other reason to not look at it that way. Like, that is really the final truth. This world exists because you exist. And it's really up to you what you do in this realm. It's really up to you what you want to believe in this realm. What you want to be true. Are you going to choose to be very logical? People who choose to be very logical are people who are actually ready to wake up, right? They don't believe things that make them feel comfortable. They look at what already feels real to them and they be like, this is what I'm seeing. Based on what I'm seeing, it's logical to say this is some kind of a hell. Yes, it might not be the Christian vision of hell. Sometimes I do find myself having fun. Sometimes I do get what I want. Sometimes I do feel better. Sometimes I do catch a break. But when I look at the way that things work, it's actually logical for me to actually conclude that we are in some kind of hell. That's the most logical way to look at things. But some people prefer to be delusional, and because we're not operating at the same level of consciousness, I would say there's nothing wrong with that, No, there was a time when I was a Christian, right? There was a time when I was a Christian. At my level of consciousness at the time, Christianity made sense, right? But I kept on growing, I kept on evolving until I realized that no, that's BS. So should I be criticizing those who are still stuck? They're in their own journeys. Maybe one day they'll wake up. People do wake up on their own, really. Like, you can't really wake someone up in this realm, no matter how hard you try. In fact, the harder you try, the harder they resist. That's how it works. Because they're going to look at you and be like, why is this person so desperate to make me leave my religion? So they become more resistant, right? They'll be like, that means that this person was sent by the devil, because they wouldn't be so desperate to like make me believe what they believe. But if you tell people the truth and you don't care, they end up waking up on their own because you've planted a seed in their head. So they end up realizing that, but maybe that guy makes sense. I mean, it's not like he wants to change me or anything. He just told me what he thinks. So should I believe what he was telling me, or should I still stick to what I believe in, because what I believe in still makes sense to me? We must look at reality as if you are the only one here. And the reason why it's important that you look at reality as if you're the only one here is because you do not lose a lot of energy when you look at reality that way. If you try to control other people, you're like, there are these people who are very ignorant, they believe in this, they believe in it. That's only like you're gonna lose a lot of energy. You're gonna be in pain because of that. You're on Facebook and you come across a video where a pastor is saying no one should leave the church unless they offer $40,000. Find that they've only offered $15,000, and it's like, no one is leaving. You guys have to offer more than $40,000, and that's when people will be allowed to leave. And people start offering, and you're like, they're idiots. Like, just let it be. You know what I mean? They're not you. They're in their own path. It's like if you look at a chicken and it's behaving like a chicken. Why should we care if a chicken is behaving like a chicken? It can't talk. It doesn't understand what you understand as a human. So they cannot understand what you understand at their level of consciousness. So let it be. Even their pastors, they don't understand what you understand. Because you look at them and be like, oh, they're evil. They don't understand what you understand. You are in your own journey. Enlightenment is a personal journey. So it's best to look at this realm as if you are actually the only one here. I've been preaching a lot about solipsism because I understand the power of believing that you are actually the only person here. Then if you want to give your power away, you are the one who decides what actually makes sense and what doesn't. So my final truth is that this world is not real. This world does not exist. This world cannot exist without me. That's how I look at it, right? Meaning that when I die, when I pass on, this world will stop existing. As crazy as that may sound, that's what I believe. And you must believe that too. Because when you die, you will stop having an experience here. I mean, think of your dreams. Like when you're dreaming, of course the world feels real, right? Even if you are having a lucid dream, that's what's crazy. So you could be having a lucid dream, but your experience feels real. Like if you are eating food, the food tastes good. You listen to music, the music sounds good. I've had dreams where I was listening to new music. Even the day before yesterday, I actually had a dream where I was listening. Like there's this other artist that was promoting a song on TikTok that they dropped that song yesterday. I had a dream about that song before they dropped it, and my own mind made up some lyrics. And those lyrics, like, because they only promoted like maybe quarter of the song, right? But in a dream, we were dancing to that song. So the whole, like we had to listen to the whole song. So my own mind literally made the whole song up, which is crazy. And it sounded good and I liked it. So yeah, when you are dreaming, it feels real until you wake up. So are you telling me that when you've woken up from your dream actually continues? or your dream cannot continue without you, because, well, it's your dream. It's the creation of your mind. So that's how you should look at this. I keep on telling you that the only other reality that you've experienced is in your dream. I mean, unless maybe you've had a psychedelic experience, or if you hallucinate sometimes, but most people have only experienced another life in their dream, and they've woken up from their dreams. So if we are going to be logical, it is very much logical to look at this as a dream than to think that this is base reality. And the reason why that's logical is because we do not have the answers. You see, in your dreams, you do not have the answers. You are dreaming. How can you have the answers if you are dreaming? Should you think you were created by God? The vision of you, I think it's about to rain again. The vision of you that is dreaming, should you think that that vision of you was created by God? Should you think that history is real in your dream? Because there is history. So if you are dreaming and you ask yourself what happened yesterday, you're gonna have memories of what happened yesterday. What happened last year, you're gonna have memories of what happened last year. And sometimes you're going to confuse what happened in this room and what happened in your dream. But should you feel like, hey, it's all real? Or should you realize that, no, it's not? Even in your dreams, there's layers that you need to remove to get to the final truth. You could have a dream where someone stole something from you. They did steal something from you, but the final truth is that it was all a dream. You see, so it is true that they stole something from you in a dream, and you can get it back maybe if you start investigating. But that doesn't mean that what is happening is real. You have your problems here in this realm, but that doesn't mean that what is actually happening is real. It's just that you are here. You are still having this experience. See, a dream is only as real as it lasts. So you're still here. You're still having this dream. So, of course, what's happening feels real to you, and it's gonna be real. Man, this rain is weird. Like, it's been raining since when? It has been raining since, I'm not even sure if, the camera is just not clean, or if it's the weather, but I'm not looking how I should be looking right now. It's weird. It's cold today. Ask yourself this question: Who told you? No, it's actually the weather, because now I look good. It's the weather. But who told you that this was real? This is a very important question. Who actually told you that, hey man, life is real? And you started to believe that, like, yeah, life is actually real. Like, who told you that? And what makes you believe that, if you have had experiences that were not real, that you thought were real? I was thinking about How as humans we have nightmares sometimes. Like you actually suffer in your nightmares, right? But what actually makes you suffer? Let's say I'm having a dream right now and those guys started chasing me. Let's say they turned into some reptilians and they started chasing me. And I started to run. I'll be scared, right? Why would I be scared? I'll be scared because I believe that the experience that I'm having is real. If you didn't believe that any of this was real, like any of this, like you believe that none of this shit is real, you wouldn't take it seriously. I've told you one of the videos that I've published a month ago that if you want to suffer in this realm, take life seriously. If you want to suffer here, take life seriously. Think that everything that is happening is real. Think that everything that is happening is important. Think that everything that other people say is important. Other people's opinions are important. It's important that everyone understands what you understand. It's important that everyone agrees with you. It's important that everyone understands you. Yeah. Think that. And you will suffer. But realize that none of this is important. None of this is real. None of this should be taken seriously. It needs to get to a point where you just watch things happen and you be like, all right. I know that this world feels real. No matter how hard we try to convince ourselves that it isn't, it feels real. The same way that our dreams feel real. You could be in a dream and you kind of realize that it's a dream, but it still feels real. You can still experience what you do not want to experience in a dream that you have realized is not real. But if you truly understand that it's not real, you're not going to take it so damn seriously. You see, the problem is that we think that this is it. This is life. And because we've been stuck in this dream for too damn long, we started to take it more seriously than we take our dreams. You see, you take your dream seriously, but not as seriously as you take what you call reality. So you take your dream seriously, like, yeah. What is happening is real. That's why if you have a dream where you committed a crime and the cops are after you, you run away. You're not gonna be like, it's just a dream, Let's see where it all goes. Let me just surrender and I'll watch what happens. Like I'm not gonna try to control everything. You're gonna run away until they catch you, or if you don't run away, you will still try to protect yourself. But what if you were in a dream and you were having a nightmare, but you realized that you were really in a dream and nothing that is happening is real? How would you feel? Would you feel scared? Let's say you are interacting with a person and they turn into a reptilian and you know it's a dream. The same way that, like, when you're watching a movie, like a movie that's supposed to be scary and scary shit happens, but because it's a movie, you still feel scared, but you also know it's a movie, so you're not going to run away or switch the TV off. You just be like, I'm just going to watch it. It's a movie, it's not real. So, okay, this person turned into a reptilian. How will you feel? Would you be really scared? So scared that you would wake up, or you'd be like, yeah, it's just a dream. Let's see what happens next. One thing that I've realized, and this is important, what I'm about to tell you is really, really important. You are very powerful when you're not scared. Even in this realm, not just in your dreams. In your dreams, if something bad happens and you stand your ground, let's say some people try to attack you and you stand your ground, you're not scared, you're ready for whatever is coming, bruh, they won't be able to do anything to you. Like, you stand your ground and you're not afraid, they won't be able to do anything to you. I've also realized that in this realm, when you're not scared, you stand your ground for real and you're not scared, like you're not feeling fear. That's why I've been telling you that even when you're scared, pretend as if you're not, so that you will train yourself to conquer fear, right? But yeah, even in this room, if you're scared of something and you train yourself to no longer be scared of it, it stops, like it loses its power. It loses its power. That's why you must try your best to detach yourself so that things don't affect you as much. It will get to a point where things happen, things that used to scare you happen, and it doesn't really affect you that much, and you don't really care that much because you don't know how this reality is created, so you're not really in control. So why are you to them attached? But I'll tell you, or what I will advise you, is that try to live life as if you are not afraid. Meaning that do the things that you want to do, no matter how you feel. Don't let fear stop you. Do what you want to do, you know. Don't care that much about the results. You notice actually that if you are acting as if you're not afraid, you won't care that much about the results. You know why you won't care that much about the results? Because you will be doing a lot of things that you want to be doing. So things will just happen. Like, you're not holding yourself back. It's not like you'll just do one thing, you'll be like, ish, yeah, I'm afraid, but let me just do one thing that I'm scared to do today, and then you do it, and then you wait for the results. Like, yeah, of course you're not going to get good results because you're only focusing on the end. Remember, one thing that you must realize about this realm is that whatever you really want, you're not going to get it at the time that you want it. You probably get it, but not at the time that you want it. So it's better to be brave and do different things that you're scared of, and you're not going to care about one thing, just one thing, you know what I mean? So it will be much easier for you to get what you want than if you only focus on one thing that you want. Like, yeah, I'm trying to win the lottery right now. If your whole life depends on you winning the lottery, you ain't winning the lottery, bruh. But if you're doing a lot of things, you're cool. You might open the app that you use and be like, shit, I won. Because you don't really care. You're not investing your energy in that. Like, the way that the things work, the way that consciousness works, is that if you really want something, it's something of value. So it makes it hard for you to get it. But if it feels like it's not something of value, it's much easier for you to get it. It's like, if you believe that you can have something, like really believe, and if you believe that it's easy to get it, that makes it easy for you to get it. But then if you believe that it's hard for you to get it, like it's gonna be hard, consciousness has to match your energy. So don't operate on the spirit of fear. Don't. Nothing is real, man. Do what you want. I know that this world feels real, but after many years of trying to figure out what is actually going on, That's my final truth, that this is not real. This is not real. It's not. And to regain your power, that's what you must realize fully, right? So that when things happen, let's say people gossip about you, you're like, yeah, whatever, you know what I mean? Like it's you're not giving them power. You're not like, these are, people with their own minds who are just mean to me. Like, it doesn't matter. You just look at it and be like, it is what it is. The same way that, when you're waking up from a dream and a lot of bad shit happening in that dream, you just wake up and be happy. You'll be happy that you've woken up, yeah. Like, I've had dreams where I've done a lot of fucked up shit that got me in serious trouble. And then I woke up and I'll be like, shit, I'm not in trouble. So it must feel like that. I've been telling you all this, and I don't know if a lot of people have realized this in their own personal lives. Let's just say you have a problem, like a serious problem, and you cannot solve that problem. And you decide that, you know what, I'm not focusing on that problem. Let me do other things, 100%. You don't even distract yourself. You just focus on other things, or you just decide to go to sleep. Usually that problem solves itself because you are not giving it your energy. You are not making it a problem. Does that make sense? Like, it has happened, but you're not making it a problem. You're like, okay, it has happened. Let me just do other things. So it doesn't feel like a problem to you anymore. And because it doesn't feel like a problem to you anymore, it's no longer a problem. It literally fixes itself. It's like things just happen just to get your attention, bruh, in this room. Things happen just to get your attention, especially negative things. Look at reality the same way that you look at a person who's trying to always make you feel the way that you do not want to feel, always trying to get you in a bad mood. Because there are people like that who will provoke you so that you will react negatively. And they're happy when you react negatively. I remember my dad, when he was still alive, he forced me to, if I didn't want to go to a Sangoma, a traditional doctor, he forced me. I was dealing with something, so he forced me. So we went there, and then this doctor said, he started talking from the perspectives of those who was supposedly attacking me, those my enemies. He was like, we see that you have a good heart, but we're trying to corrupt you. And the best way that we can do that is to make you angry, is to provoke you so that you will react very negatively, so that you will blame yourself, so that other people will blame you, so that you will feel like you are evil. That's how this world works. It tries its best to provoke you so that it will get a negative reaction out of it. Like, it's trying its best to make you destroy your life, basically, by making bad decisions when you are angry. But when it does that and you don't react, trust me, it will surrender. It will surrender. If it sees that you're strong, you don't just give in and allow yourself to. You don't just give in and allow yourself to feel angry. I don't know why we believe that this was real, or why we chose to believe that this was real. You do understand that you could have decided to believe that this is not real. Like, you do have it right. Be like, well, this is not real. In fact, you can live your life telling people that this is not real, and no one has the right to treat you in any way. They can even take you to a psychiatrist and be like, you're sick because you're saying this is not real. And you'll be like, why should I think it's real? Why? If I can dream, and my dreams are as vivid as this experience, why should I think that this is real? You cannot say I'm crazy for thinking that this is not real. Why? This is not based reality, guys. There's a reason why you know nothing. It's because this shit is a dream. If it wasn't a dream, you would know the truth. You would have woken up. Like, to know the truth, you should have woken up fully and realize what you really are. There's no such thing as a material world. You know, nothing exists outside of consciousness. Everything that exists within consciousness. Everything that exists is a product of consciousness. So when you've woken up fully, you realize that, oh shit, it was all a dream. Like, what the fuck? The same way that you wake up from your sleeping dreams is the same way that you're going to wake up from this and be like, shit, it really was a dream. It just lasted longer. And I hope that when I wake up, wherever I wake up, I'm not going to be there for too damn long. Because if my dreams are short, and this seemed to, like, this experience, you know, is longer, then what happens when I wake up? But yeah, some of us truly want to wake up. You know, it's important to us that we actually wake up, because we are already operating at a level of consciousness that no longer enjoys this as much. You know, like when you were still a baby, yeah, you did enjoy this, but some of y'all became so too damn conscious that you no longer enjoy this. That is why it feels so evil, right? You no longer enjoy this. It no longer makes sense to you at your level of consciousness. Like, you want something better. You want something that makes more sense than this. This no longer makes sense to you, because all of it is not real, remember? So it's not really gonna make sense. But if you're operating at a low level of consciousness, it would seem like it makes sense, even if it doesn't. And it's going to seem like it makes sense because you believe in this reality, right? You believe that this is real. You believe that this is happening for a good reason, right? And you feel so small, so that you're submitting to some higher power that you don't even understand. But if you grow and reach a higher level of consciousness, you end up noticing the flaws. You end up noticing that if this was real, it wouldn't be like that. It wouldn't be like this. Like, things would be a bit different if this was real. But to reach that realization, you have to remove a lot of layers. It's not just one layer. It's like you have to remove a lot of layers. Like, you have to see every truth, basically, you know. That's why intellectual honesty is important. That's why I was telling you that it is important that you are brave, bro. It is actually important that you are actually brave. You are brave enough to believe in your own truth. What you feel is true. You believe that is the truth, than to trust other people, even if they're not making sense. Yes, it is possible for someone to make you realize that something that you didn't realize on your own. You know, there are people who have made me realize things that I didn't realize on my own. That is very, very possible, but that doesn't mean that you must believe whatever other people tell you. You must trust yourself more. If a person tells you something that makes sense, yes, it makes sense. So you must acknowledge that makes sense, and you must grow. But you mustn't believe something just because you admire someone. And that's what Christians do who are following fake prophets. They admire these prophets and they tell themselves that whatever these prophets say is true because of how they feel about them. Like, yeah, this prophet was sent by God. This prophet is being used by God, so I must believe whatever they say. Like, no. Believe what you think. Take yourself seriously enough to believe what you think. Otherwise, you're gonna suffer in your dreams. You're gonna suffer when you're having a psychedelic experience. You're gonna suffer in the afterlife because you are giving your power away instead of taking all your power back. What you need to be working on is trusting yourself. It's not trusting other people. It's not giving other people power. In fact, you must be taking your power back. If there are some people that you've given your power to, you must be taking your power back. Even if there's someone that you look up to 100%, if they say something that doesn't make sense to you, you must be able to say, yeah, that doesn't make sense to me. I agree with you on this and that, but that doesn't make sense to me. I like the fact that some people do comment on my videos and tell me that, yeah, we agree with you on this and that, but okay, this time around we don't agree. That shows that they take themselves seriously enough than to just believe anything that another person say. You know, every person is having their own experience. So that actually means that, let me check. But I don't think those mushrooms are there. I remember they removed all of them last time. But let's check. Because mushrooms, I think, it doesn't take a lot of time for them to grow actually. Plus it rains a lot. It rains every day here, so I just have to be fast actually. But now like they're not here at all. You remember last time they were here? I really wonder who took them and why they removed them only after I wanted them. It's crazy. But I guess it wasn't the time for me to have another psychedelic experience. People are getting married though. I like the fact that I outgrew the feeling of wanting to get married. I think if I was married, I wouldn't be able to think the way that I think, you know. I mean, you'll be focusing on your wife, focusing on your marriage. Unless I was married to the right person. Like, if the person that I would have been married to is the person who thinks like me, they will encourage me to, you know, keep on thinking the way that I do. But you know how hard it is to meet a person who's like you. How hard it is to meet your match. Almost every person is the same, especially where I live. Like in South Africa, like almost every person is the same. Yes, there can be people who agree with me on some things, but if they don't agree with me on a lot of things. Like there are very few people who actually agree with me on like almost everything that I say. So it's good that some of us don't want to get married. These pigeons are afraid of people, but no one. But maybe the Anyaupe guys will actually catch these pigeons, you know. Thank you all, guys.